Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and today we're going to be talking about Space Wolves versus the Tyranids. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. If you have any suggestions or you have any questions about Warhammer 40K, just let us know in the comments section below, and we'll either answer it there or create a video for you. If you guys enjoy our content, it is because of our patrons that we can do this. Thank them in the comment section below, and if you guys want to support, the link is in the description. But with all of that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Space Wolves versus the Tyranids. The long and glorious history of the Space Wolves is filled with thousands of epic campaigns stretching across the entire Milky Way galaxy. And although the sons of Leman Russ have never turned down a fight and have collided with almost every foe imaginable, there is a special hatred found deep inside every Space Wolf's two hearts for the Great Devourer. I don't think it's even fair to say that the two factions have a rivalry. While some Tyranid hive fleets act with cunning aggression towards certain foes, the bioforms that encounter the ruthless wolves of Fenris respond with complete recklessness. When the two forces meet on the battlefield, it is as if both draw out each other's most extreme and animalistic tendencies. Like rabid wild animals fighting for the last piece of meat, each faction will willingly lose it all so long as the other doesn't achieve victory. It is known that the tactics of most Space Wolf great companies are far more chaotic than that of any other Space Marine chapter, and while this may be looked down upon by the highly regimented and organized Astartes captains, the erratic tactics of the Space Wolves gives the chapter a maneuverability that the Tyranids struggle to counter. It is certain that most younger Space Wolves will quickly abandon a standard tactical structure in favor of a more brutal but efficient approach. This deeply ingrained ability to think on your feet from the very beginning is what gives the Sons of Rust the advantage when facing the Tyranid menace. A hive fleet is designed to quickly assess a world's military response to the invasion. In this way, the Tyranids and the Space Wolves both share a very similar combat doctrine. A hive fleet is designed to quickly assess a world's military response to the invasion and tailor the second wave to counter the tactics of the defending forces, but this incredible adaptability is thwarted when the defenders are just as willing to alter their strategy in response to changes on the battlefield. Conflict between the two forces always results in some of the most murderous melee combat imaginable. Frenzied warriors butchering each other in a bloody orgy of destruction that makes it incredibly difficult to distinguish who is actually winning. And no great company has more experience and is more willing to tear into the flesh of the Tyranids like the Space Wolves that carry the sigil of the bloodied hunter, Bran Redmaw's Blood Maws. The savagery of this company is legendary. Every battle brother knows that given enough time, the Blood Maws will literally tear the enemy to pieces until there is nothing left but a battlefield of severed and mutilated body parts. This is because there are more Space Wolves bearing the curse of the Wolfen in this great company than all but the 13th Company. One of the Blood Maw's first encounters with the Tyranids was when Bran Redmaw responded to a request for aid by a beleaguered Imperial hive world that was being invaded by the tendrils of Hive Fleet Leviathan. The hot-headed young warriors of the Bloodclaw packs were overjoyed as they collided with all manner of Tyranid bioforms in close-quarter melee throughout the planet's Hive City. Each one eagerly boasted their kill tally after every hab block was cleared. Although the Space Wolves were there to work with Imperial forces already entrenched in the region, the Blood Maws found it easier to progress through the Hive City on their own, claiming that the Imperial Guard would only slow them down. It didn't take long for the hive mind to redirect its strategy and send in a proper counterattack to the newly arrived superhuman warriors, butchering their way through the lesser bioforms. The hive mind allowed itself to be pushed back far enough to a position where the Blood Maws believed that they were on a strategic point, only to send in a fresh wave of reinforcements that ambushed the Space Wolves on Hell's Ridge. The human Imperial defenders whose spirits were lifted by the Space Wolves' incredible advance, and who were now trying to keep up with the wolves, were caught off guard and easily slaughtered, thus surrounding the Blood Maws. As each battle brother readied themselves to fight to the last man, the timely arrival of a dozen Stormfang gunships cleared a path for the entrapped Space Wolves to reunite with their wolf lord, Bran Redmaw. Under his leadership, the Blood Maw's savage counterattack turned the tide against the Tyranid forces. Many years later, the Bloodied Hunters would get another chance to face off against the Tyranids during the Battle of Montberg Spaceport. When Hive Fleet Colossus descended in force upon the civilized world of Thrasax, the forces garrisoned there proved unable to stop the Tyranid invaders. Imperial High Command called for all the remaining forces to withdraw and leave the settlers of the planet to their fate so that the Tyranids could be exterminated from space. Bran Redmaw, resupplying upon the planet at that time, objected fiercely to this dictate. He sent 2 full squads of Grey Hunters to reinforce the vital spaceport of Montberg so that the people of the planet could evacuate. A few days before the attack, the Grey Hunters intensively trained the menfolk of Montberg, putting the fear of Fenris into any who considered desertion. Against all odds, the Grey Hunters and their new recruits held the wall for the spaceport against the Tyranid swarms, buying the civilians enough time to escape. When the 6 surviving Grey Hunters finally withdrew from the spaceport, Imperial High Command demanded that they be stripped of all of their honors for disobeying their direct command. Instead, Bran Redmaw promoted all 6 into his personal wolf guard in recognition for their valor. And those were 40 facts on the Tyranids versus the Space Wolves. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you tomorrow. This was Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.